Hey guys, Cinema Sickness here. Last night I went and saw the new Total Recall. Now, first off, let me say, I am not going to be comparing this Total Recall to the original. And I do have a good reason for doing that, and that's because I do not feel comfortable enough doing that. The last time I watched Total Recall, the original, was about 5 years ago. I've only ever seen the movie twice, and since I'm not super familiar with it, only because I've only ever seen it twice, and the last time I saw it was 5 years ago, I do not feel comfortable enough comparing the two. I don't want to BS you. I don't want to try to compare and remember the little things I can remember about both movies. Not gonna do it because I'm not here to, I'm not here to BS you guys. I'm not gonna try and be something I'm not. I really don't remember the movie all that well. I did originally plan on rewatching the movie first, or rewatching the original first before I saw the remake. I had absolutely no plans whatsoever to go see it in the theaters. I figured I would get it when it came out on DVD or Blu-ray. And before I watched it, I would watch the original first, just to, reacquaintance myself with it, and then watch the remake. But last night, about an hour before the movie started, my friend called me and said, hey, let's go see the new Total Recall. He had free tickets, so who am I to pass that up? So I went anyway. But like I said, I really would have liked to watch the original first. Had I known I was going to see this, I would have watched the original first, so I could have compared them to. But I didn't, so I am not going to do that. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because as I've said to you guys many times before, when I go to see a remake, I don't think of it necessarily as a remake. I don't sit there and compare the remake to the original in my head. I'm not thinking, oh, that looked better than the last movie. No, I'm not doing that. I'm looking at the movie as a whole. When I watch a remake, I take it as a whole new movie. Because it is. Even though it's based off of another movie, even though it's a remake of another movie, it's still its own film. And that is how I go into every single remake that I see. So I don't really feel bad that I'm not comparing them, because, again, I'm looking at this movie as its own movie. And as its own movie, I thought it was actually pretty good. It wasn't, spectacular. It wasn't some big, Hollywood hit, I would say. But it was a good popcorn action sci-fi movie. It really did interest me. It's, I think, 2 hours and 9 minutes long, so I guess after credits, about roughly 2 hours long. It kept me entertained the entire time. There's tons of great action. The story, I thought, was pretty good. A lot of great actors in it who did a fantastic job with their roles. It was a pretty good movie. Again, not comparing it to the original. It was pretty good just on its own. So I would recommend seeing it. Now, let me rephrase that. I would recommend seeing it just in general. Would I say go to the theater and see the movie? Not necessarily. If you're really into going to the cinema, you love going to the theater, sure, check it out. It looked good on the big screen. There's explosions and lots of big noises and crazy things going on. So it looked good on the big screen. I'm not going to say it didn't. But I would say if you're more like me and you're not somebody who wants to go to the cinema, you actually somewhat prefer watching it at home. Because, me, I go to the movies when either I can go for free, or if I have a coupon or something like that, I will go. Otherwise, I'll just wait, pick it up on DVD or Blu-ray, and watch it at home. So if you're more like that, if you're more like me and just, usually wait to watch movies at home, then yeah, you don't have to go see it in theaters. You can wait, rent it, buy it, whatever you're going to do, and just watch it at home. You'll be fine. It'll still look great and sound great. But like I said, if you are really into going to the theaters, then just, by all means, see it. It looked good on the big screen. I'm not going to spoil this. I'm not really going to get into the plot. I'm not going to necessarily give anything away. From what I'm not really going to compare it to the original, but from what I can remember, it's not exactly like the original. They did change some things up a bit, but there are some throwbacks to the original in it. But like I said, definitely some changes. But again, I thought it worked. I thought it was a decent movie. But once again, nothing special. It's not it's not going to live up to the original. It's not the next big blockbuster movie. But it was a fun, decent action popcorn sci-fi movie. I would say if you like movies like maybe I, Robot or Independence Day, then you're probably going to enjoy it. If you don't like Independence Day or I, Robot, maybe stay away, because you probably won't enjoy it too much then, because it did sort of have that kind of feel. I would say I would say more of like an iRobot kind of feel it sort of had. I mean, it's not necessarily about, you know, kind of like the robots taking over, but it sort of has a little bit of that kind of sort of going on. So it did sort of feel like iRobot, but only a very little bit. I'm not saying this movie's an iRobot ripoff. It's not. But I would say if you liked iRobot, then this is probably one you're going to want to check out. Otherwise, stay away. Not too much more to say. I'm keeping this very quick, especially since I can't compare it to the original because, like I said, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Had I seen the original beforehand, I probably could make this review much longer, but once again, I don't necessarily feel comfortable doing that. But I'm probably actually going to watch the original real soon again, because now that I've seen the remake, I would like to actually get a feel for the original once again, watch it, you know, for I guess my third time now. Definitely check it out again and get a better feel of the differences between the two films. I thought that, you know, I thought that everybody did a great job in the movie. There were a lot of great actors in this. People I didn't even know were in the movie, because I hadn't really looked into this movie very much. I didn't go on IMDb, see who was in it. I actually saw very little previews for this. I saw maybe like 2 previews for this on TV. I didn't really see much advertising for this movie, so I knew some of the main characters, but for the most part, I didn't expect everybody who showed up to be in the movie. So they did a great job. I was really impressed by everybody's job in this movie. And everybody looked great. It was just, again, a really, well, a decent movie. I don't want to say it was really good because it wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it was a fun movie that, once again, I would recommend checking out if you're into action sci-fi popcorn movies. Then you're going to enjoy it. So that's it. Like I said, keeping this short, going to end it here. I'm not going to get into this one. Like I said, I'm not going to get into it too much. But once again, I would recommend it. I've seen a lot of really negative reviews on this. In fact, I think every review I saw on this movie was very negative. But every review I saw on this so far was a lot of people comparing it to the original. A lot of people who were saying how much they love the original movie and then comparing the two movies and basically saying, I don't like this one. Which I don't think is the right way to go into a movie like this. I believe if you're going to go into a remake, look at it as its own film. I mean, what I do is I look at it at its own film. I say, as a film in itself, it's either good or bad or whatever. And then I also can say, now comparing the two, you know, it was not nearly as good as this one or something like that. I would do that, but I would make those two very different comparisons. I would not say a movie is bad just because it wasn't as good as the original, because the original, you know, is a classic and such a good movie, and the remake didn't hold up to it. I would never say that. I would judge the movie on its own. So I think that's why a lot of people were giving this bad reviews, is because it's, from what I can remember, not as good as the original, but in itself, just, you know, if it was a whole nother movie that wasn't Total Recall, I would say it was a fun movie, and I think it would get better reviews if it wasn't a Total Recall movie. Maybe it was a movie that was just very similar to Total Recall. Maybe it would get better reviews. But in the end, like I said, definitely check the movie out. At the very least, wait for it to come out to Redbox. Give it a rent. Judge for yourself. I would say it's at least worth seeing. If you're not going to go to the theater and check it out, you don't want to pick it up or anything like that. Maybe you're thinking it looks pretty bad, or you just heard bad things. I would say at least wait for it to come out to Redbox or Netflix or your local video store. Give it a rent, check it out, see what you think. But, you know, look at it as what it is. It's just a popcorn action sci-fi movie. It's nothing more. It is a remake, so yeah, chances are it's not going to be as good as the original, but it's still a fun movie, so I would say see it.